Hello, happy Tuesday. Wait one more minute. Hopefully, people are making times in their lives to pause. I'm Debra Wallace. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and in a nutshell, I have chose to go live Tuesdays and Thursdays as my passion is human development, trauma-informed, parent-child relationships. I'm helping, my job is to help people who have endured and suffer a lot, want to wake up and live in this reality that we are in. And as a society and a world, we have gone through a pandemic. We have two wars literally going on. And I'm in the States, and there's a massive mass administration change. And with my specialty in trauma, we already had a pandemic of trauma. Like it's like maddening from my lens, what I see going on. And then to see what's happening now is catastrophic. It's just hurts my heart every day to wake up. So I also know, although it makes perfect sense to want to fall into despair, that's a complete stress response. I introduced polyvagal theory last week, and I'm going to talk more about polyvagal. So it makes sense when we're overwhelmed, because that's what pretty much trauma is: any event, experience that is too much, too fast, too soon for our unique nervous system. So everybody is different. Everybody has different tolerance levels, different access to things. And that's why I've showed this image, this is Bronfenbrenner's human development. I'm trying to do a lot. I usually talk for like the first 15, 20 minutes, and then I walk through an exercise. But our nervous system grows. We start as this individual, and then every system we interact with is help develop our psyche and develop our nervous system. And those first 7 years are critical. Actually the first 3 set the blueprint for all future relationships. And so one of my taglines is that I want to promote relationship-rich world, societies, and child wise societies, because when you understand how a nervous system develops in a healthy way, you would just see all that's happening that is just blocking and we're all born wise and connected. It's unbelievable how amazing we all are and come to this world with our own basket of goodies. And so, but unfortunately, our modern day does not support that. And we're ending up causing a lot more health issues, a lot more disease, dysfunction. So that's trauma, like I mentioned, is anything too fast, too soon that is overwhelming for your nervous system, and then results in disease, dysfunction, disharmony all over the show. And I'm actually going to talk about Tuesdays. I talk about politics because this is another reason why I did this was I'm still, I've been caretaking my mom. She recently passed away, and that was huge. I had been focusing and prioritizing her well-being for the last 3.5 years. And then as I'm grieving that, then to have to deal with what's happening right now in America is shocking and hurts my heart. And so I wanted to have an outlet for myself. I'm also showing up as a human, although I have this experience. I'm a human who still has feelings, who still has highs and lows, who has a nervous system. That's another thing. I think some people, it's a hard sell what I'm doing, but I say you have a nervous system and you're in a relationship, then you're going to get something from what I'm sharing, because I'm helping people learn how their nervous system works and how to find fun, playful, simple ways to process stressors, because stressors can also build up as stressors, and toxins, chemical, emotional, relational, environmental, really muck up our systems. And so often this is just my quick imagery that I show this bottle. Here you can see through it. But when an event happens, a lot of things get shaken up. And so I have dirt in here that represents like things we don't process, the events that have happened to us. And the first 7 years of our life, we don't have a choice. really the first 18 years, we get more power and control in life. But in the first 7 years of life, you are dependent. Humans are dependent on their parents, the people who are caregiving them, to get their vital needs met, safety, food. And so so actually, I know today's tax day. So I want to talk about tax and power and control, and because so much plays into it, because a governing agency kind of acts as a surrogate parent for its country. And so my specialty is parent-child relationships. And so I always bring back things down into a developmental level. And so when we are born, humans are actually the only mammal species that are born undeveloped. That is so vulnerable. So vulnerable. We need the fourth trimester, because we're born, we wouldn't be able to be born naturally if we were fully developed when we come out. And so you are dependent on your parent and caregiver to get your vital needs met. And so when I look at what's happening, there's a lot when you're looking at laws and rules and regulations being made, and what you would hope is that laws and regulations are being made to keep everyone as safe and healthy. That's what I often tell parents when I tell parents that need to set boundaries and limits. You have to make decisions for the well-being and the health and safety for your child, and that is what you want governing agencies to do. And what's hurting my heart right now, especially when you think about taxes, like for me, I love that my taxes go to the library. Like, the library is my happy place. It's so many of my clients' happy places. It's where I took my children to fall in love with books and to meet community and have access to resources that they would not have if they didn't. Love the library. And I love that my money goes to support people who don't have as many resources or the disadvantage. And if you saw my image, oh man, I could talk at lengths about that, but it breaks down reality, equity, equally, and interesting enough, using the word liberation at the end of it. I actually didn't print it out. Darn. I usually print out the visual so that I could pull it up. Thank you for your patience as I'm learning. Technology is not my thing. And so I am learning the process, and I wish I could just share screen, but I tried that one time and the screen just showed up black. So it was empty, did not show my image. So I think it's one thing when someone is standing in front of someone and saying, well, I have everything. I must have worked hard. Look at me. I made good choices. I worked hard. I got what I got because I worked hard. And so you need to work hard too. I don't know why you should just be getting money. And I giggle only because I'm trying to stay in a lighthearted mode, because I think that's so grand for people who can just say that. And I even, oddly enough, came from privilege. I actually had a lot of resources given to me, but I also have suffered a lot of trauma. So that's why I'm actually a family therapist. I have 6 siblings, and you could look at the 6 siblings and you could think, oh, they had the same access. They had the same parents. They had the same situation. And this is what I find in every family. The age, the context, what you had access to, those friends' homes you went to at that time, your specific teachers at that time, the collective things that were going on at that time, your relationship. Every parent has a different relationship with that child. It's fascinating. There's studies where, twins, you can have twins, and one was colic and one was not, and they're going to have a different brain development because the one that was colic was activating more stress and frustration from that parent versus the one who was the more happy baby, peace, easy baby. I don't like to say that, but because there's so much that goes into it. And then that affects how that parent, that caregiver, is responding to that child, and how everyone is responding to you creates how you see yourself and sets the stage for so many things. So just because you have access to something that doesn't mean you're lazy, you're not working hard enough, and that if you're not matching up. There's so much at play, and that's why I love informing and educating people on the nervous system, because it's not that simple. And especially under age 18, like, yes, we get to get more responsibility, and yes, you get to have choice. Actually, I'll prioritize under age 7. Like under age 7, core beliefs are being installed in you that you did not have a choice. Lifestyles are being put onto you that you did not have a choice. And we can have parents that do and say things that do not actually aren't our truth, that don't feel good to us. And so when you live under that house to get food and structure and you're dependent on them, they have power and control. You are going to do things, manipulate. I could do a reframe on manipulation. We all manipulate to a degree. Manipulation is get your needs met. We're all going to do things to make that person happy, to get our needs met. And if we can't, it's not because we're mean, we're bad. It's because we don't have the skills. And then we actually lose connection to our smart files. So actually on Thursday, I'm actually going to show my hand model. So I go on live Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm going to talk more about this. But today, this is my outlet to talk about politics because it hurts. It hurts. And I wanted to also back up. I share a link to the Heckman equation. Now that he's James Heckman's, and he won I believe it's a Pulitzer Prize for economics. And he found that initially it was like for every $1 you invest in programs for children under 5, you get a $7 return. I think it's up to $11 return. It might even be $13 return. But the more that we invest in educational and development resources for disadvantaged families, we provide equal access to successful early human development, the better the society is, because then you cut down costs of healthcare. Because I also want to reference the ACEs study. The ACEs study, oh my goodness, if you've not heard about it, it was actually put on by Kaiser Permanente, the insurance company. And it's like the largest study. It's amazing. I want to say it was 15,000, trying to look quickly, the database that they use. And it's just 10 questions. And for those who, the higher the number, the more likely you're going to have chronic issues, health issues. I mean, the more health issues you're going to have. That's why we have to find ways to process stressors. And we also have to increase access to resources. And so I'm very concerned about what's happening with the tax cuts, because it's not just hurting. It's just cutting us at the knees. It's just like, we weren't so far behind anyways. And now I'm in shock on honestly what's happening. But so, and it's all about early. So ACEs is all about having adverse childhood experiences. So it's so critical what we have access to. So you can't, like, you could, and it's just, oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to take a moment to breathe. This topic just goes to my heart. Like, I want to cry. Like, obviously I have so many coping skills, and I have fortunately I've done so much healing on my own trauma. Because as a child, I witnessed and experienced some hard things. And I just know, like, so much of what people think, you choose to be this way. Trauma wreaks havoc on your nervous system. And it is just unbelievable what happens. And I just want to promote so much more of that, so that we can have more empathy. Empathy is actually good for human development. It's vital for the well-being for the world. So as I breathe and take a moment and feel my feelings. So I've shared links. Every talk I give, I share links to what I'm talking about. So you can check out more about the ACEs study. I don't know if that link had the quiz in there. If not, I'll make sure I'll share that link. I share the link to the Heckman Equation. It just makes good sense, literally, money sense. Please check it out. And that's where I'm concerned. And also, actually, one of the, I do have my own private practice. So like doing my, I got to deduct everything. And actually, there was a meme I shared not long ago about how billionaires, like, there's loopholes all the time for like large companies could pay zero. I mean, I'm shocked. I don't know how, again, I can't 100% This is my understanding. I could be wrong. Please, I love information. I love to be held accountable. But that I read, what I did get fact checked was that teachers, I was actually going to be a teacher. I know many teachers. I work with many teachers, could only deduct up to $300. That's it. And then I saw this administration was cutting funding for their training. Like, teachers, like, do you know how I know teachers? They have to get into school early. They stay the school hours. They stay after school. They buy materials. They are at home planning. They're then also processing all the messages and emails they get from all the teachers, and I mean from all the parents, and then they have to be present for the students. Like, people, like, schools, like, I could also have a whole talk on schools. I mean, teachers used to have more creativity. Like, now that they had to study and work to test scores is ridiculous. Yeah, I can do a whole talk on that. But the fact that teachers can only deduct $300 and then what little they get paid and all that they do and their role in society, oh my gosh, like, it's bonkers. And then a billionaire can pay no taxes. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I do get it. Power and control. Those who are in power have control. I did not put in the link, but I will, a power and control dynamic. And that's why I focus on parenting. Unfortunately, a lot of traditional parenting strategies are on power and control because I'm bigger, wiser, stronger. I can tell you what to do and you have to listen. That's not healthy. That is not healthy. And I'm all about providing resources on healthy relationships that are built on respect and love and build trust. And I'll often use the saying, feeling safe, seen, soothed, and secure. That is, my book is part of my intervention. I'll share my webinar and the link, but that is catered for caregivers to do with their children, to get to know what helps their child feel safe, seen, soothed, and secure uniquely, because everybody is different. There's not just a one size fits all. There's so many variables at play. And so I just want to encourage people that, yes, it makes sense. Like, you want your money to go to things that you value and you think are important. And I get that. And that is so important. And we need changes. Like, I actually agree with getting some of these health things. Like, there are toxins, like, we need to get, that's a whole other talk, but, and their change has to happen. But there's a way to make change that's respectful and responsible, where you have a plan, you do things incrementally, you give them agency and so they can prepare. Because the stories I'm hearing, not made up stories, is the way a lot of these cuts and changes are affecting individual families, farmers, military. It is just unbelievable, the trauma that's happening. And then I even read that the some of the leaders influencing this administration literally use the language of wanting to traumatize the system. Well done. They're doing it. And yes, we need change. Again, I still see some value. I can see some good, because that's who I am. I can always see some good. Yet I'm very concerned. So as I'm working on my taxes, well, they're 99% done. It's interesting because tax day, my mother's birthday, was yesterday, and I always remember my dad has always been a business owner, and I just remember tax day always being a big thing, and my mom being like it was hard to kind of celebrate her birthday because it was often a very stressful period of time. I got lots of stories. I'll be writing lots of books about my experience with my parents. Again, I know all parents are really doing the best that they can. And I know leaders, everyone's trying to do the best that they can with the knowledge and access of resources that they are aware of. But the key ingredient that I want to underscore is aware of. As I started off the talk, that's for 7 years, stuff enters us and our core belief and our survival brain we're not aware of. And it comes out, and unfortunately, it bleeds out. It projects out and ends up hurting other people, lots of people. And so it's important to take time to pause and process. So now, as you see, this has settled. It's still a little murky because it would take more time. That's why we need to build a practice. That's why I'm showing up Tuesdays and Thursdays. Consistency matters. But this is what I'm hoping. Obviously, right now, I just threw a lot. So, fair enough. Anything I said could shake you up. That would make sense. And now that will be my segue into us doing a breathing exercise. So I usually do a breathing towards the 10, last 15 to 20 minutes. I try to do a different one every time. So today I've chosen to do the 4-7-8 breath, which originally when I discovered, actually, I had moved to New Zealand and my child was 2. I had I had a 5, 6 or 2-year-old. And man, I was very stressed. And my supervisor from graduate school had sent me an email about this 4-7-8 breath. And she said, give it a go, do it every day, notice what happens. And I thought, you know what? This getting my daughter to sleep is really stressful to me. and I was living in a new country. A lot was going on. A lot of changes were happening for me. And so the 4-7-8 breath is literally you're going to hold your breath. You're going to breathe in. Sorry, you're going to breathe in for 4 counts. I'm going to walk us through it. But I'm just going to describe it first. You're going to breathe in for 4 counts. And then you're going to hold your breath for 7 counts. And then you're going to exhale your breath for 8 counts. And as with any exercise, and why I teach people to stop to listen to their body, if you can't hold your breath for 7 counts, and it's uncomfortable, don't do that. We don't want to be causing harm. It might be a little uncomfortable, because we do need stress. I just want people, we do need stress. Stress actually helps bring growth and change. But there's a difference between stress that's healthy and stress that then becomes trauma. And basically the difference is when we have no power, it's overwhelming, it's out of control, and you have no safe place to process, express, and make sense of it. That's trauma. But stress that's predictable, we have some control in it, an agency, we'll know there'll be an end in sight. And we've chosen, there's some choice in it. There's some agency in it. Will help you build skill. So with that, with any practice I teach, it's so important that you listen to your body and give it a go. And with this 4-7-8, it's ideal that you do it 4 times. So I will walk us 4 times through it. And to finish the story, when I first did it, I applied it as I was putting my daughter down for her nap. And because usually you're like, as a parent, you need that nap time so that you can clean the dishes, you can get dinner, you can do laundry, you can clean, you can pay attention to your other child at home. 1,000 things. That's why I love supporting families. It's and I could go on and on there. But so I was very stressed. So as I was trying to get her down, I'm like, oh, I really need her. I'm attached. There's attachment. I need her to get to bed so that I can get all these things down that are overwhelming my nervous system. And so I would, her not getting to bed was then being perceived as a threat. I'm going to use my polyvagal language. If you listen to other talks, this will make more sense. But her not going to bed was being perceived as a threat because then I wouldn't be able to get those things done. And then I have more things to do on top of my already big. So you can imagine I was getting into sympathetic, which is fight, flight. And I'd get really upset. It'd be really frustrating. And, our faces are going to show it first, our tone, my heart is racing. And there's a catch-22 here that unfortunately, babies, our children, and even our pets are mirroring our nervous system. And so if I'm getting activated, I'm only reinforcing, sending messages of stress and cues a threat to my young child. And so she's now perceiving, oh no, my mom's upset. And I want you to know, parents, anyone who works with kids, You upset equals threat to your child's nervous system. Because as I mentioned earlier, you provide their food, their safety, their love, their happy place. And if you're angry, they know something's not right, and they're afraid of losing that. And they're often kids, they don't know all the data. They don't know, then they're not supposed to, but they're going to think I did something wrong, which again, you're like, oh, I hope they learn. Some people think, well, they got to learn what's wrong. The thing is, too much, too fast, too soon. They don't have the skills yet. And you don't even get those skills to start to self-soothe till age 3. Age 3, you don't even have the mechanisms to do that. So that's another soapbox I'd go on. So back to my daughter's situation, getting her to go to nap. So I tried the 4-7-8 breath, and I did it for 4 times, and that got my nervous system to settle. So then I was sending cues of calmness and regulation, and then she got to settle, and then she'd fall asleep, and then I can go do my things. So this is what I was saying. We are in, that's why I say my talks, like, sure, you might not want to listen everything. I talk about a lot of things, but you have a nervous system and you're in relationship with people, and we are bi-directional. We are affecting every relationship, every system, every interaction we have. And I want to make every interaction an opportunity for growth and building resilience and trust and healing. So I'm going to walk us through this 4-7-8 breath. And so I'm going to have you breathe in for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale for 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to count you through 1 more, and then I'll have you do the last 2 on your own. So I forgot to mention, make sure you're comfy where you're sitting. And if you feel comfortable to close your eyes, do so. It's so important that we feel safe. You'll hear me say that we have to feel safe for anything to actually work, and it takes practice and consistency. Nothing works the first time, so if you don't feel any effects today, that doesn't mean you did it wrong. It's just your nervous system. Anything that's new and unfamiliar is first being perceived as a threat, so it takes time. So again, I'll walk you through another one. Please, if you feel comfortable, breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale for 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now I invite you to do at least 2 more. We want to do this 4 times. So you're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and exhale for 8 at your own pace. And I'm going to do it myself. I like to close my eyes, so that's what I'll do. Actually, let's just do 1 more at your own pace. So breathing in for 4. I had asked for the other one because I realized, because I talked during the first 2, so I was like, I could use another one. As I bring up so many things that matter to my heart so immensely, and just ever since I was a little girl, I just always wondered why we hurt the people we love the most and why people literally, do really hurtful things. I want to end in a positive note, so I won't say. And so that's what I've dedicated my life is now I do understand why. And it does come down to ACEs, trauma, and fear. We're afraid, and then we default to our fight, flight, or freeze and our worst behaviors to protect ourselves. And I want to live in the world where we don't have to feel the need to protect ourselves. And we can't get rid of that completely. We actually need to feel fear. It keeps us alive. It's just that that's why we need caregivers and people in our life to help us scaffold and understand within reason and help us know that, yes, that's scary and you're not alone. And that's what I want, the gift I want to keep giving. And I love to promote that in relationships. As I mentioned, I want to promote relationship rich and child wise. I would say thank you, Carmelo. Hopefully that might have startled some people. That's actually why I use a dog in my book. So I did a talk on neuroception because the dog represents that part that's scanning for cues of threat and safety 24/7 to help to make sure we are safe, make sure people are friendly. So my wonderful rescue dog, Carmelo. Thank you, Carmelo. I weave a lot about dogs and cats. As the cat that I now have, we believe is my mother's energy as the cat arrived the day that my mom died, the morning. So let's just take another breath in. Notice how that barking and again, any other new things that I said may have activated parts of you. We have parts. We're not just one. There's so much that make us. We are complex and yet simple at the same time. So we all need to feel safe, seen, soothed, and secure. But that means different things to different people. So breathing in, exhale long. I talk a lot about mindfulness, and mindfulness is just being present in the moment, in a particular moment, without judgment and with compassion and curiosity, and just notice any thoughts, feelings, sensations. Did any memories get activated? Are you feeling calmer in your nervous system? The hope is that after breathing, you'll feel a little lighter, a little ease. You might have more clarity, as I mentioned with that jar. You might be able to see things a little differently, be able to feel some feelings or needs. Another thing I'll say often is all negative behavior comes from a state of stress, unmet needs, and lack of skill. There are some dark energies out there too, but focus on the ones we can control. And so we often have needs that we're not getting met, and our society does not really promote this business model, promote time to pause so that you can listen to your mind, body, spirit, and nervous system and get your needs met. So please follow, subscribe, check out my other videos. I also do a series called Positive Reframes where I'll take a topic and do a positive reframe. So I've done positive reframe on grief, conflict, stress, trauma. And feel free to leave a comment, or if you have any questions, I'd love to weave in answers. Hopefully, I'm working towards building my page so that I can get more of a group and that I can make it more personal and engaging for more people to join in. So thank you for sharing your time with me, and take wonderful care. And I hope you got your taxes done and all is well as it can be. And the good news is, although there's so much we can't control, there's so much you can, and I encourage you to seek out experiences and people and places that help you feel nurtured and safe, seen, soothed, and secure. Take care.